Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button right now, because this is one of those stories where the numbers alone are going to leave you genuinely speechless. FIFA and Christie's just put BTS actual World Cup final outfits up for auction, real pieces worn on that stage in front of the entire planet, and somehow, out of every single item in this entire auction, including things signed by Lionel Messi, David Beckham, and Madonna, one single piece of clothing is beating literally everything else. And it belongs to Jimin. Let's get into it. Here's the full setup, because the context actually makes this story so much bigger than just cool merch for sale. On July 19th at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, the World Cup final between Spain and Argentina wrapped up with something that had never happened before in the entire history of the tournament: an actual halftime show. Not a small closing ceremony. A full, star-studded halftime performance, curated by Chris Martin of Coldplay, featuring Madonna, Shakira, Justin Bieber, and BTS, all performing together in front of a global audience in the billions. This was the first time a World Cup final ever had a halftime show at all, and BTS wasn't just a guest act tacked onto the lineup. They were one of the actual headliners, standing shoulder to shoulder with some of the biggest names in music history, on a stage that had never existed before for anyone. Just days later, Christie's, the actual world-famous auction house that sells fine art, historical artifacts, and pieces that end up in museums, launched something called One Goal, an online charity auction running from July 22nd through July 29th. This isn't some random fan-run giveaway. This is Christie's, teaming up with Global Citizen, putting genuine World Cup history up for public bidding, with every dollar raised going toward the FIFA Global Citizen Education Fund, an initiative with a stated goal of raising $100 million to expand access to education and sports for children in underserved communities around the world. Think about the scale of what's actually sitting in this auction. The official match ball used in the World Cup final itself. Signed jerseys from Lionel Messi. Memorabilia connected to David Beckham. Madonna's fingerless gloves from her halftime performance. Justin Bieber sneakers. Chris Martin's actual handwritten lyrics. Shakira's full stage outfit from her Die Die performance, the official song of the entire tournament. This is genuinely one of the most star-studded charity auctions tied to a single sporting event in recent memory. This isn't a K-pop auction that happens to include a few football relics. This is a football history auction where BTS earned a permanent seat at the table. And right in the middle of all of that, all 7 members of BTS. Every single one of them donated one specific piece they personally wore on that halftime stage. RM gave his boots. Jin gave his belt. Suga gave his pants. J-Hope gave his gloves. V gave his scarf. Jungkook gave his jacket. And Jimin gave the jersey, a white, baseball-style jersey with red trim running along the collar, sleeves, and sides, paired with matching white trousers, custom-made with the number 7 on it, representing all 7 members together as one unit. There's also a FIFA World Cup 2026 Earth Ball, signed by literally every performer from that halftime show: Chris Martin, Shakira, Madonna, Justin Bieber, all 4 members of Coldplay, conductor Gustavo Dudamel, and all 7 members of BTS. Every single one of these lots opened at the exact same starting bid, $100. A completely accessible entry point, specifically designed so regular fans, not just wealthy collectors, could realistically participate and walk away owning a piece of history, while supporting a cause that actually matters. And that's exactly where this story stops being just cool auction news and turns into something genuinely wild. As of July 24th, just 2 days after bidding opened, Jimin's jersey isn't just doing well. It's dominating. It's sitting at $15,000 with 48 separate bids placed on it, making it not just the highest bid among all 7 BTS items, but the single most bid on item in the entire auction. Above Messi memorabilia. Above pieces connected to Beckham. Above literally everything else Christie's put up for sale that week. Fans reacted almost instantly online, with one comment capturing the mood perfectly, calling Jimin the IT boy of the entire auction, a title that, looking at these numbers, is honestly hard to argue with. Now let's slow down and put that number in real context, because $15,000 for a single piece of stage-worn clothing is genuinely enormous, even inside the world of celebrity memorabilia. And it gets even more interesting when you line it up against what the other 6 BTS members' items were doing at that exact same moment, because the gap here is massive. Let's actually go through each one, because every member's item deserves its own moment, not just a passing mention buried under Jimin's number. Start with RM. His item is a pair of boots, worn during that exact halftime performance. As of July 24th, RM's boots were sitting at $3,000, the lowest total among the 7 BTS items, but still 30 times higher than that initial $100 starting bid. RM tends to be the member people associate more with words than visual moments, the leader, known for interviews and lyrics rather than flashy stage wardrobe, so it makes sense his item, while still performing well, wasn't the one pulling in the most competitive bidding. Then there's Jin. His donated item is a belt, and it climbed to $3,500 by the 24th. Jin's known across the fandom for his humor, his visuals, and that worldwide handsome nickname and a belt. As an accessory rather than a full statement piece, landed in a similar range to RM's boots. Still a genuinely strong number, 35 times its starting price, but not quite the item triggering an all-out bidding war. Suga's item is a pair of pants, and those reached $4,500. Suga's always had a low-key, magnetic intensity to his public persona, not usually the member associated with dramatic stage outfits, more the one associated with presence and lyrical weight. His item still climbed noticeably higher than RM's and Jin's, suggesting that even a relatively simple item, tied to a member with a specific dedicated following, can still pull serious bidding. J-Hope's donated piece is a pair of gloves, and by July 24th those had reached $6,500, jumping ahead of Suga, Jin, and RM by a significant margin. J-Hope's stage presence has always leaned toward high energy and constant motion, and gloves as an accessory fit right into that visual identity. Fans specifically wanted a piece connected to the most visually dynamic performer on that stage, and the numbers reflect that. V's item is a scarf, reaching $4,800, sitting just above Suga's pants, but below J-Hope's gloves. V's public image has always carried an effortless, high-fashion coolness, someone whose style choices get dissected constantly, independent of BTS as a group, so a scarf, as a smaller, more understated accessory, still performed solidly. And then there's Jungkook. His item is a jacket, and this is where things get genuinely interesting, because Jungkook's jacket ran away from every BTS item except one. By July 24th, it had reached $8,000, nearly double what J-Hope's gloves reached. Jungkook's individual global fanbase has always been massive and incredibly active, and a full jacket, bigger and more visually significant than a scarf, belt, or gloves, clearly gave fans more to compete over. So line all 6 of those up. RM at $3,000, Jin at $3,500, Suga at $4,500, V at $4,800, J-Hope at $6,500, Jungkook at $8,000. Every one of those numbers is genuinely impressive, especially considering every item started at the exact same $100 just 2 days earlier. This alone would already be a great story. 6 members, 6 wildly successful charity auction items, real money pouring toward a real cause. And then you get to Jimin's jersey. $15,000. 48 bids. Not just the highest number among the 7, nearly double what Jungkook's jacket reached, and roughly 5 times what RM's boots pulled in. Every one of these 7 items comes from the exact same historic event, the exact same stage, the exact same night, worn by 7 members of the same group who share the same overall level of global fame. And yet one piece of clothing is running away with the entire auction in a way nobody could have fully predicted, even accounting for how popular Jimin already is individually. So why Jimin specifically? There isn't one simple answer. It's a combination of several factors stacking on top of each other. Part of it is the design itself. That white and red baseball-style jersey, with the number 7 stitched onto it, wasn't a random wardrobe pick. It's a piece specifically built to represent the whole group as a single unit, worn on one of the biggest stages any of them have ever stood on. It's visually striking, instantly recognizable, and it photographed incredibly well during the actual performance, meaning it was already circulating heavily online before the auction even opened. Compare that to something like a belt or a scarf, meaningful, sure, but visually secondary to a full jersey with a bold color scheme tied directly to the group's identity. Part of it is timing. This auction dropped just days after the halftime show, while the performance was still the single biggest topic of conversation across football fans and music fans simultaneously. Jimin's individual moments from that stage had already been clipped and reposted across every platform in the days immediately following July 19th, so by the time Christie's opened bidding, there was already a massive, primed audience specifically looking for a tangible way to own a piece of that night. And part of it, honestly, is just the sheer scale and speed of Jimin's individual fan base whenever there's something concrete to rally around. A charity auction with a low entry point and a visible countdown clock is basically the perfect storm for a fan base built like that. It's a literal, physical object tied to one specific historic night that one specific person could actually go on to own. That kind of tangible stakes tends to create exactly the sort of competitive bidding energy that pushes a number from a few $100s into the thousands within 48 hours. But here's the part one really want you to sit with, because it's easy to get caught up in the size of the number and lose sight of what it's actually attached to. This entire auction isn't about profit for any of these artists. Every single dollar generated by these bids, all $15,000 on Jimin's jersey, all $8,000 on Jungkook's jacket, every dollar bid across every one of the 7 BTS items, and every other lot in this entire auction, goes directly to the FIFA Global Citizen Education Fund, built specifically to expand access to education and sports for children in underserved communities around the world, with an overall target of $100 million tied to this World Cup cycle. So when you look at that $15,000 number sitting on Jimin's jersey, you're not just looking at a fandom flexing its purchasing power for bragging rights. You're looking at real, tangible money, generated specifically because of how much that one piece of clothing means to people, heading straight toward funding actual education access for kids who genuinely need it. That reframes the whole story once you actually stop and think about it. This isn't just viral internet chaos for its own sake. There's an actual, tangible good cause underneath all of it, and BTS involvement, specifically the insane demand around Jimin's jersey, is directly amplifying how much money that cause ends up walking away with by the time bidding closes on July 29th. And that's really the piece of this story that deserves way more attention. Because think about what these numbers could actually mean if this trend holds until the auction closes. If Jimin's jersey is already at $15,000 with 48 bids just 2 days into a week-long auction, there's a real chance that number climbs significantly higher before July 29th. Auctions like this, especially ones tied to global fandoms with this level of coordination and financial capability, very often see their biggest jumps in the final 24 to 48 hours, as competing bidders who've been quietly watching from the sidelines finally make their real move right before the deadline. Christie's own bidding rules actually account for exactly this kind of last-minute rush, which makes the ending of this auction even more interesting to watch. If a bid comes in within the final 3 minutes before a lot is scheduled to close, the closing time automatically extends by another 3 minutes, and that cycle keeps repeating for as long as new bids keep coming in. Which means, if Jimin's jersey stays anywhere near this level of demand heading into the final stretch, the closing hours of this entire auction could turn into a genuinely intense, extended bidding war, with the final number potentially looking very different from where it's sitting right now. Now, zoom out for a second, because there's a bigger picture worth appreciating here beyond just the raw dollar figures. This is genuinely the first time in the entire history of the FIFA World Cup final that a halftime show like this has ever existed at all. And BTS wasn't a footnote tucked into that historic first. They were one of the actual headline acts, standing directly alongside artists like Madonna and Shakira, performers who've been global icons for literal decades. And now, in the direct aftermath of that exact performance, it's a piece of Jimin's stage-worn outfit specifically outperforming items connected to Lionel Messi, arguably one of the greatest football players who has ever lived, in a charity auction built entirely around football's single biggest stage. That's a genuine, measurable marker of how far BTS individual and collective influence has reached, not just within music, not just within K-pop, but crossing directly into the world of global sports memorabilia and holding its own against names dedicated sports collectors have chased for years. And it's worth remembering that this isn't really a competition between the 7 members, even though the raw numbers might make it look that way at first glance. Every single one of them handed over a real, meaningful piece of history from that exact night. RM's boots, Jin's belt, Suga's pants, J-Hope's gloves, V's scarf, Jungkook's jacket, and Jimin's jersey. And every dollar bid on any one of those 7 items is going toward the exact same fund, supporting the exact same cause. The fact that Jimin's item happens to be leading the pack by this much doesn't take anything away from the other 6. If anything, it's dragging significantly more overall attention toward the entire auction, which almost certainly means more total money raised across all 7 BTS items combined, not just concentrated on the one currently sitting at the top. Think about it from a pure visibility standpoint. Before this specific story about Jimin's jersey started spreading, how many casual football fans, people who follow the World Cup but have never engaged with BTS or K-pop at all, were even aware this charity auction existed? Probably not many. But a headline like "K-pop stars jersey outbids messy memorabilia" is exactly the kind of crossover story that pulls in completely new eyes from outside both fandoms. Every one of those new eyes is a potential new bidder on any of the 7 items or on any of the dozens of other lots in the same auction. Jimin's jersey isn't just winning its own individual race, it's functioning as the headline pulling attention toward the entire event. So here's where this actually lands, with bidding still fully open and several days left before this auction closes on the 29th. Right now, sitting at $15,000 and 48 bids, Jimin's World Cup final jersey isn't just the top BTS item in this auction. It's the single most competitive lot in an entire auction that includes genuine Messi memorabilia, genuine Beckham memorabilia, and stage-worn pieces from some of the biggest pop stars alive today. And every single one of those dollars is heading somewhere that actually matters. Funding real education access for real kids around the globe who will probably never fully know just how much a single stage outfit worn during one historic halftime show ended up doing for their futures. That's genuinely one of the wildest, most feel-good viral stories to come out of this entire World Cup cycle. And it's still actively unfolding right now, with days of bidding left on the clock, and all 7 BTS members, not just Jimin, playing a real part in how this story ultimately closes out. Alright, that's it for this one, guys. Let me know down in the comments how high you think Jimin's jersey ends up going before this auction officially closes on the 29th, and which item from the other 6 members you'd personally go after if you had the budget. RM's boots? Jin's belt? Suga's pants? J-Hope's gloves? V's scarf? Or Jungkook's jacket, sitting right there in second place? Smash that like button if you made it this far, subscribe if you're new here, and I will see you in the next one.